evening, namaste, and salam alaikum, distinguished guests and members. On the pious occasion of India's 72nd Republic Day, I take this opportunity to wish you all a very happy Republic Day. आप सबको भारत की 72वीं गणतंत्र दिवस के शुभ अवसर पर हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं. On behalf of IBPC, it is my honor and privilege to welcome amidst us His Excellency Dr. Aman Puri, Consul General of India in Dubai. I also have the honor to welcome an inspiring personality, a great friend and well-wisher of India, His Excellency Sultan Ahmad bin Sulayman, Group Chairman and CEO of DP World. Amidst us, we also have Dr. Siddiq Ahmed, Chairman of Iram Group, who is known as Toilet Titan for inventing millions of eco-toilets for developing and underdeveloped countries. Today, on the 26th January 1950, Constitution of India was formalized and India became Republic. As we celebrate our 72nd Republic Day, we must remain ever grateful to our Emirati brothers and sisters for their goodwill, compassion, and collaboration with our people and our country. One of the prime objectives of IBPC is to further UAE and India's relationship in commerce and industry. We pray to Almighty for the well-being of both our people. Today, we'll also be sharing an address by His Excellency Kapoor, Indian Ambassador to UAE, Dr. Ahmed Al-Bana, UAE Ambassador to India, and Mr. Sujay Bose, MD and CEO of NIIF. With that, and without much ado, I would like to invite our chairman, Sri Suresh Kumar Ji, for its keynote address. Jai Hind and Jai UAE. Namaste.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, and dear members, greetings and best wishes to all of you on the occasion of the 72nd Republic Day. It's indeed been a journey over the last 71 years, a journey of development, a journey of building a nation, which has been remarkable. Yes, true, there have been challenges, there have been crises, there have been setbacks, and the more recent one, the pandemic in 2020. But the country is resilient, the economy is robust, and this can be evidenced by the fact that just today, the United Nations Economic Data Service announced that the projected growth for 2021 for India is 7.3%, the fastest growing large economy in the world. And even China comes a shade behind at 7.2%. And this exemplifies the resilience and the growth momentum that is building up. In fact, the Reserve Bank of India, which is normally a very staid and focused central bank, went a little lyrical, in fact, quoting William Shakespeare in Richard III, when it said, the end of a winter of discontent is over, and a glorious summer is upon us. I think all of these shows that there is significant growth momentum, and we can expect to re-emerge as a viable investment destination. And investments are a must. Both domestic investments, India's savings rate is good, and indeed the capital formation is reasonably good. But the private sector is lagging behind. They will build capacity when the demand revives. The government sector will certainly see some investments announced during the budget on the 1st of February 21. But foreign direct investments are very important simply because the scale of investments that will be needed in infrastructure, that will be needed in industry, that will be needed to create jobs, to create capacity, will be constant. And therefore, there will have to be a continual cycle of foreign direct investment. These are long-term investments as has been exemplified by DP World, led by His Excellency Sultan bin Sulaim, in terms of forging a US $3 billion partnership with the National Investment in Infrastructure Fund in India, the NIIF, to focus on ports, transportation, logistics, key infrastructure sectors. But more about it a little bit later. I would like to invite His Excellency, the Consul General of India, Dr. Aman Puri, who has arrived in August 2020, right in the midst of the pandemic, but has hit the ground running in terms of his engagement with the Indian community across the platforms. He had the strong momentum that he built up in terms of food security summit, in terms of pharma security, healthcare summits, in terms of the first time ever visit of the Jammu and Kashmir state delegation. So there has been a number of initiatives, and he's also focusing on engagement with the workforce in terms of breakfast at the labor camps on a regular basis, or re-equipping the skills and making them re-employable. And these are all very important initiatives, and I'd like to mention that IBPC will be supporting him in all his initiatives, and he can lean on IBPC to the extent that he needs to. First, let me welcome Dr. Aman Puri. Please, Your Excellency.
Namaskar. Salam alaikum. Good evening to all of you. His Excellency Sultan Ahmed bin Sulaim, Chairman DP World, Shri Suresh Kumarji, Chairman IBPC, Dilip Sinha ji, Secretary General of IBPC, Dr. Mupin, Mr. Siddiq Ahmed, Mr. Walrani, all members of IBPC, Excellencies. First of all, I'd like to convey my heartfelt greetings on the auspicious occasion of the 72nd Republic Day of India to all Indian nationals living here in Dubai and the Northern Emirates, all our Emirati friends, and all our friends and brothers and sisters from over 200 nationalities who call UAE their second home. I'd like to take this opportunity to extend my gratitude to the UAE leadership and all governmental authorities for the extraordinary support and care being extended to all residents, including the very large Indian community of almost 3.3 million in the UAE. I'd also like to take this opportunity to congratulate IBPC for a fantastic work they've been doing over almost 2 decades in improving and strengthening the trade and investment relationship between UAE and India. Also, IBPC has been a pillar of strength for supporting the Indian community and members of other communities in terms of building infrastructure, including the very large facility for COVID-19 built at Al Warsan. Thank you for your support in these unprecedented times. I would, of course, like to take this opportunity to congratulate His Excellency Sultan Ahmed bin Sulaim, Chairman DP World, for being awarded as the most distinguished institutional investor in India. Your investment in India and your vote of confidence in the Indian economy in a strategic way, where you're looking at the long-term benefits of dealing with India, is something which is not only hugely beneficial for both countries, but it is also something which inspires other investors from UAE and from different parts of the world to look at India as the most attractive investment destination in the world currently. The way I look at it, if you look at the large economies in the world, with all the difficulties, with all the challenges, which I'm sure entrepreneurs are used to handling in different economies as they invest in different parts of the world, India is and will continue to be, over the next few decades, as the most important economy in terms of the opportunity. I mean, if you were to go by any statistics, it'll definitely be amongst the top 3 economies, large economies where the opportunity for investors is going to be very meaningful and very substantial over the next few decades. And we would like to see more investment coming from UAE and from other parts of the world. I would also like to take this opportunity to reiterate what the Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, has been requesting the Indian diaspora to support is the Atmanirbhar Bharat campaign, the self-reliant India. And very importantly, he has reiterated that this is not about an isolationist India. It is about making sure that India emerges as a dominant player in manufacturing in the world and becomes a significant participant in the global supply chains. I think this is going to be a very important step in ensuring that India, which hosts 1/6 of humanity, makes its rightful contribution to the world. And we are seeing this in various fields, including the very successful launch of the world's largest vaccination program in India, and also the vaccine Maitri, which is not only taking care of India's population with our ability to be the world's largest manufacturer of vaccines, but also to support other countries to the extent we can. And I am very pleased to see the way India has been able to extend a helping hand and a support in these times of unprecedented crisis. In the spirit of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, the whole world is one family. I'd also like to mention what Mr. Suresh Kumar just mentioned about the upskilling. And the consulate understands that we need to work with key stakeholders like academia and industry. And we very much look forward to working with IBPC on this, which is something called the upskilling and retraining of Indian blue-collar workers living in the UAE to improve their employability. We launched the first prototype last week at the DPS school in Dubai, and I'm very pleased that it was launched by the Honorable Minister of State for External Affairs and Parliamentary Affairs, Shri V. Muralidharan ji, and I think that's a very good start. Now we have a successful prototype which can be replicated not only in the UAE, but elsewhere as well. Before I conclude, I would just like to mention that next year, India will be celebrating 75 years of its independence. And the government of India has decided to start the celebrations 75 weeks before that, which falls in March of this year. So from the March of 2021, we will begin the celebrations towards the 75 years of India's independence. And we look forward to doing so with all the key Indian associations and organizations. And of course, this is also a very special year when UAE will be celebrating 50 years of the UAE National Day. And we will be seeing the joint celebrations while both countries will be celebrating memorable milestones. With these words, I would like to once again extend my warm greetings to everyone on the Republic Day of India. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to join all of you. Jai Hind, Namaskar.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Now over to some very special messages.
Throughout this pandemic, we have tried to ensure that the relationship between UAE and India continues to remain strong. Right from the beginning of the pandemic, the leaders on both sides have spoken to each other on a regular basis and coordinated policies. We have, in fact, in two areas made sure that our contact is even enhanced and our cooperation is increased. These are the areas of food security and healthcare. I am very happy to let you know that throughout the period of the pandemic, particularly the initial phase, when there was concern that would food supplies in the UAE run short because they import almost 85-90% of their food requirements, India made sure that its airspace was completely open. All permissions were given so that food supplies from India kept coming here on a regular basis. This was much appreciated by the UAE leadership. Also in the area of healthcare, we had the UAE government give us a gift of some PPE kits and other equipment. We were able to supply some important medicines to them in the initial phases, and then we were also able to send them some healthcare workers to support the healthcare system here in the UAE. So this is a reflection of our comprehensive strategic partnership. We are determined to carry forward this relationship and enhance cooperation in all areas. And we saw that at the earliest available opportunity, even our External Affairs Minister personally came here in November and had meetings with the top leadership. He called on His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed here in Abu Dhabi, as well as Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, the ruler of Dubai, in Dubai. And then after that, we've also had just last week the visit of our Minister of State for External Affairs, Mr. Avi Muralidharan, and he interacted with community associations and individuals, and also met with ministers, his counterparts here in Abu Dhabi. I can tell you that one of the important elements of their discussions here was the welfare of the Indian community, which continues to be a great priority for us. And we of course appreciate the contribution of the Indian community here in the UAE, as well as to what they're doing for back home in India. This will continue to remain a priority, and I can also assure you that we here in the embassy, as well as our consulate in Dubai, will continue working to support you in whatever way possible. On this note, I would like to wish you all a very safe and healthy 2021, and again wish you from my side a very, very happy Republic Day. Jai Hind.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Namaskar. UAE and India is multifaceted, time-tested partnership. Even during the recent global health and economic crisis, we emerged as each other's trusted partner. In 2017, a new impetus was given to our ever-growing bilateral ties when His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, Deputy Supreme Commander of the UAE Armed Forces, was the chief guest at India's 68th Republic Day celebration. It was during that visit that our bilateral relationship were upgraded to a comprehensive strategic partnership. No looking back. We look forward to 2022, when we would complete 50th historic years of formal diplomatic relationship. We hope to begin a new era of partnership, an era which would be defined by exceptional growth and unparalleled cooperation. Although trade and investment form the cornerstone of our exemplary ties, the importance of people-to-people relationship cannot be undermined. It gives me great pleasure to state that the UAE has the largest Indian diaspora in the world, about 3.4 million Indians living in the UAE as the last count, according to official estimates. All those Indians call UAE as their second home. They play a vital role in the socio-economic fabric of the UAE and are probably the most dynamic aspect of our bilateral relationship. As India celebrates 72 Republic Day, I believe that India is ushering into the year with fresh wave of optimism, vitality, and growth. On this day, I would like to congratulate the pragmatic and visionary leadership of India and the citizens of India on this Republic Day, National Republic Day. With such astute leadership, India is poised to emerge as a bright spot in the global economic order. A new phase of endless opportunities and exhilarating growth waits to unfold, reshaping the lives of 1.3 billion Indians. The UAE wants and likes to be India's partner in rekindling this new wave of growth. Together, let's create a shared future and future driven by endless possibilities and unmatched mutual growth. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all the best, stay healthy, and hope to see you all soon, and happy Republic Day. Thank you.
Hello everyone, greetings from Mumbai. I want to congratulate His Excellency Sultan bin Sulayem and DP World for being awarded the most distinguished institutional investor in India. I'm truly delighted, and I want to thank IBPC for recognizing the contribution made by His Excellency and DP World in supporting the development of India's port and logistics sector. Over the last few years, I have personally witnessed the size and scale that DP World has achieved by building capacities across the globe. And in India, it has been a brick-by-brick effort, executed incredibly well by a fantastic team that His Excellency brought together. DP World was the first partnership that NIF forged in our initial days, and we take great pride in that partnership. And with DP World, we are in the process of building one of the most respected logistics companies in the country. It surely would not have been possible without the leadership and vision of His Excellency. I once again want to laud the efforts made by the DP World team in India, and we look forward to many years of their presence in the country and for NIF to be collaborating with them. Thank you very much.
Over to our chairman, Mr. Suresh Kumar.
Today's presentation to His Excellency Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem as the most distinguished institutional investor in India award needs to be viewed in the context, the increasingly important context of foreign direct investments into India. The importance was underlined when the Indian Prime Minister visited the UAE in August 2015, when he established a personal chemistry and a strong relationship, a comprehensive strategic partnership with the UAE, followed by the visit of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi and the Deputy Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces to New Delhi, on the 26th of January 2016, when he was the chief guest at the Indian Republic Day, as we are today. And I think that illustrates, and that has been quickly followed up by significant investments by the Abu Dhabi Investment Authority, by Mubadala, and a number of institutions in Abu Dhabi, as part of a commitment of $75 billion towards infrastructure investments in India. The comprehensive strategic partnership is strengthening the relationship across a number of sectors, including in terms of maritime security, solar, technology, every aspect of human endeavors in both the geographies. And I think it's in this context that the importance of foreign direct investments into India that fuels its growth forward, and the investable opportunity for the UAE and its institutions comes into context, because DP World's investment and joint venture with the National Investment and Infrastructure Fund focused on ports, transportation and logistics is the single largest investment by a UAE institution. And we need to celebrate that. We need to welcome that. And we need to ensure that investors of the caliber of DP World, led by His Excellency Sultan Ahmed bin Sulaim, are encouraged, rewarded, so that their investments grow and additional investments flow in from the UAE into India, from the world into India, as India becomes a $5 trillion economy and the largest democracy, also becomes the third largest, if not the second, by 2050. So it's in that context that the IBPC is honored and pleased to present to His Excellency Sultan bin Sulaim as chairman of DP World, as group chairman and CEO of DP World, this first recipient of this award as the most distinguished institutional investor in India. That's the award, Excellencies and distinguished guests. And we'd like to virtually present it to His Excellency. And I hope that he accepts it, and we will ensure that these are presented to him formally very soon and physically. Thank you. May I now invite His Excellency Sultan to speak to us. Let me share with you some insights, which are reported insights. I'm not very sure, but His Excellency Sultan's father was with the All India Radio in the Arabic service, is what I heard. I would like him to confirm that for us and begin on a very positive and pleasant note. Thank you. Excellency.
Thank you very much. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I would like to congratulate the government and the people of India on your 72nd Republic Day. My thanks to the Indian Business and Professional Council for your kind invitation. I am humbled and honored by this award. To answer your question, yes, my father did work in India 15 years from the early 30s to 1948 as a broadcaster in All India Radio in Delhi. Maybe that's one of my roots, that I am very passionate about India, and I feel really strongly about the potential in India. I understand India more than many people probably in this place. As a company that enables trade globally, we share the vision of the Prime Minister for India. We want to contribute to India's growth story. Our investment in India is a direct result of our belief in India's economic potential. India's economic fundamentals are continually to be very strong. Today's award mentions our investment in cold chain logistics at a time of high demand to efficiently store and distribute vaccines. The $3 billion we committed in 2018 is creating valuable infrastructure such as port terminal, special economic zones, inland container terminals, and so on. Just 2 weeks ago, we began construction of our Nhava Sheva Business Park Free Zone near JNPT. This is a special purpose vehicle with 60-year lease, and we started work on similar free zones in Chennai. As you may know, DP World is the largest port and logistics player in Southeast Asia. Our 6-port terminal across India handles 1/4 of India's container trade volumes. So far, DP World have invested $2 billion in Indian logistics sector through our partnership with the National Investment and Infrastructure Fund. We are building an integrated logistics network in India. We'd like to thank the Indian government for supporting us. This would have not been possible without the support of all the agencies and ministries in India. This network of logistics will improve efficiency of supply chains, reduce cost of logistics, and increase the ease of doing business in India. We continue to invest in every part of the value chains of our customers, who operate both domestically and internationally. To do so efficiently, DP World has built an extensive export and import and domestic network. This network includes express and third-party logistics services, rail services, inland rail terminals, cold chains, freight forwarding, and feeder services. I would like also to speak briefly about the India-UAE bridge. This project has been developed to attract Indian business and industries to JAFZA. Through this project, we improve the logistics value proposition for Indian investors. The key is to integrate DP World asset on both sides to deliver support along the supply chain. DP World has already identified a range of sectors for trade development, from engineering, pharmaceuticals, petrochemical, food and beverage, retail, and fast-moving consumer goods. We have developed these facilities and services motivated by Indian growth story. And this is not a short-term investment, but a long-term commitment to India's sustainable growth. We will contribute to this growth by reducing the cost of logistics and making trade more connected, predictable, and controllable. As you know, trade is in our DNA. Dubai was built in trade. We learned it, we've seen it. At DP World, that's what we do best. I am confident that successful trade will continue to define India-UAE relations into the future. Once again, thank you for your honor that you have presented to DP World, and congratulations to you again on India's 72nd Republic Day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. IBPC would like to continue to work with DP World strategically and promote the UAE-India bridge that you have, a tremendous initiative. And we had the launch program last year. And we will continue with this working arrangement such that it is a win-win for both of us and both our communities and both our nations. And I think that's the true role of a catalyst. I would also like to recognize and welcome Dr. Siddiq Ahmed. Dr. Siddiq Ahmed is the recipient of the Pravasi Bharatiya Samman Award 2021. He's the chairman and the managing director of the IREM Group. Dr. Siddiq, briefly a quick message from you, please. Thank you.
First of all, happy Republic Day to everyone. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Indian Business Professionals Council, Suresh Kumar, Chairman, Dilip Sinha, Secretary, His Excellency Dr. Aman Puri, Councillor General, Dubai, His Excellency Sultan bin Sulaiman, DP World Chairman, His Excellency Dr. Ahmed Al-Banna, Sujoy Bose, my brother Dr. Asad Mopen, K. Shamsuddin. Thank you for honoring me on this special occasion. I am highly grateful for your wishes and inspiration words. Once again, thankful for continuing good support. I am grateful to the GCC rulers and the Indian community for contributing for my achievement. I know the time concerned. I am going to conclude my speech with I wish all of you a happy Republic Day. Stay safe and healthy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Siddiq. Over to Mr. Ramesh Mahalingam for the closing remarks.
Thank you all. A very warm welcome to a lovely evening. Assalamu alaikum and namaste to everyone. Let me start by thanking His Excellency Pavan Kapoor, Indian Ambassador to the UAE, for his very inspiring Republic Day message to all of us. And then His Excellency Dr. Aman Puri, Indian Consul General for Dubai and the Northern Emirates, for his highly motivational message and his recap of India's achievements over the past year. Or for that matter, also pointing out the coincidence of our 75th year of independence in India with the UAE's 50th year of independence, or the forming of the crucial states into the Emirates. His Excellency Dr. Ahmed Al-Banna, UAE's ambassador to India, for his congratulatory message and his note of optimism about India and the UAE-India bilateral relationship, and of course for a shared future towards the $5 trillion economy that India is on its path to embark. And His Excellency Dr. Sultan Ahmed bin Sulaim, Group Chairman and CEO of DP World and the most distinguished institutional investor in India, for his acceptance of his award with great nobility and humility, and his huge and long-term investment commitment to India, for his message of Indo-UAE business integration, gratitude and optimism, and for his confirmation of his Indian roots. To Mr. Sujoy Bose, MD and CEO of the National Investment and Infrastructure Fund of India, for his message of gratitude and optimism. To Dr. Siddiq Ahmed, President of the Iram Group, the proud recipient of Pravasi Bharatiya Samman Award 2021, for his graceful acceptance of his felicitation. To the IBPC Chairman, Mr. Suresh Kumar, for his apt summarization of India's achievements, and for our felicitating our speakers and the award winners this evening. Dr. Azad Mupin, Board Member IBPC, for his gracious presence. Dr. Mohan Valrani, Board Member IBPC, for his gracious presence. And to the IBPC General Secretary, Mr. Dilip Sinha, for the arrangements behind the evening. And of course, to the General Manager of IBPC, Sibi Sudhakaran, my good friend, for putting all of this together so smoothly. And thanks in full measure to all fellow members of IBPC and our most welcome guests. Wish you all a happy Republic Day, a 72nd Happy Republic Day, and Jai Hind and Namaskar. Have a good night, everybody. Until we meet again. Thank you.